guys, what's going on? So I wanted to share with you guys today my top 10 things that'll really help you going in the game. A lot of these I wish I'd have learned a lot sooner, and my gameplay would have helped out substantially, maybe even helped me not lose some items having presets, and we'll go over those in just a minute. So hopefully this will help you out with your gameplay. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching. The first thing I wanted to go over is your XP. So we all know that everything you do in the game, whether it be killing monsters, completing quests, are going to give you experience. But what you may not know is how your weapons also get the XP. So by playing the game normally, all of your weapons are going to get XP. However, your primary weapon that you have out is the one that's going to receive the majority of the XP that goes towards your weapons. The great thing is, though, the other two do get that static XP throughout the whole gameplay no matter what you're doing. So this is helps with a couple ways, either leveling up your current weapons, or if you're wanting to increase your mastery rank, throwing in weapons that you do not have the max proficiency on will get you additional mastery level ranks. So this is just a great way to help boost your mastery as you're playing, or just level up the ones that you're not using or having them for specific things. Like I have my hand cannon as a part breaker, so just leveling it up just as I go helps me that I'll be able to increase that mod slot later. All right, in our number 2 spot, we're going to talk about one of the more underrated things early on for going throughout your campaign. So damage is super easy to come by early game. Every time you kill a new boss, every time you move through a new zone, you're going to get an increased amount of higher level weapons, new mods, more Kuiper to upgrade your mods. So you're constantly going to be upgrading your damage. But what you're not constantly upgrading is your defense. So I want to talk about where you get your defense from, because this, as one of the most underrated stats, especially early game, that people don't talk about so much, this is what holds a lot of people back, is just being able to survive. So of course you have mods that you can use, like increased defense, increased HP, spear and shield, even full resistance mods. So there's a lot of mods, but that's not where a lot of your defense actually comes from. A lot of your defense actually comes from these external components. And what you're really looking for on these is 2 good defensive stats, whether that be double defense, double HP, defense and max HP. But what you really want to focus on as well is a ton of defense with no HP is useless, and a ton of HP with no defense is also useless. So you really want to have a good balance of this. And this is the biggest thing that I see, and that I also felt when I was going through my early game progression, was the defense was holding me back more than my offense. So again, number 2 is just going to be focus on your defense stats, and the priority of that is going to be on your external components. Our 3rd and 4th in the list are going to go hand in hand with each other for increasing your mod capacity. These 2 items act independently to each other, but they both ultimately give you the same goal of increasing your mod capacity. So the first one we're going to talk about at number 3 is going to be your energy activators. Energy activators are unique in the fact that they're a one-time use on a character or an item that can only be applied once. So what this does is this gives a 20% mod increase to either your Descendant or a weapon one time. You get a couple of these throughout your campaign and your story. So for this, things you should know starting out in your journey is be very efficient with how you use these and when you use these. I'm telling you this from my own experience. I got one early on, used it on a weapon that I do not intend to use. At the time, I thought it was a great weapon. I was still learning about the weapon, so I used it. That weapon is now not going to be used anymore. It's not great. So I lost a energy activator. These items are not easy to get. As you can see here for its crafting list, it is a very intensive list of items that you need, as well as the schematic has a very, very, very low drop chance percentage on some of these fights. The way that you activate this is you go into you can either use your Descendant or your weapon, but for the sake of this, we'll go into Descendant module, and you'll click on the module additional settings, and you select this one here called max capacity up. And as you see here, it's going to go ahead and tell us that we've already used this one. So again, this is a one-time increase of 20. What you're going to want to use this on is a Descendant that you know you're going to use, and also for weapons, ones that you really think you're going to be using going into your late game. The second one is the Catalyst. So what the Catalyst is, this is also going to help you with your mod capacity. This does not increase your mod capacity like energy activators do. What they do is they actually reduce the mod capacity of a mod, or in the case of your primary slot, it's going to give you an increase in the amount that it gives you. So on a Descendant, if you use it on your ultimate here, in this slot for the melee or the grappler, it's going to increase how much it gives you for this by half. So 10 to 15. For all of your module slots, it's going to reduce them by half. But a couple things to note about this. When you're using this, the first one you want to put it on for your Descendant is you want to put it on this. This is a universal stat here. You're not going to be switching this in and out. All of the ones that you may use are also going to be the same module type, but it's not like if you catalyst this slot with the Malachite and you wanted to use a Xanthic in it, you can't do that. This is always going to be static here. It's going to give you this. So your first catalyst that you want to use on your Descendant needs to be this one here, just to give you that plus 15. A couple other notes here. Big question that I've seen multiple times is, my character's at level 1 now that I've used a catalyst. Yes, it absolutely will. So the way the catalyst works is, you have to level your Descendant up to level 40, and then you're going to use the catalyst, and you're going to be able to make one of these slots. As you see here, this slot is empty. If you were to add a catalyst here, it would make these module types, whichever one we selected, would go into that slot. You can clear one out as well if you had too many, if you wanted to zero one out. So what that does is it allows that slot to become that module type, and it's going to any of that type. So you can move these around and they're going to remain. It's just the module type. So when you do that, the item as well as the Descendant goes back to level 1. You lose, if it's your Descendant, you're going to lose all of your grinded stats from everything from 1 to 40. You will become substantially weaker by doing this, but until you grind back up, the pros still outweigh the cons. You just have to grind a little more, even though you're not that big of a deal, because you do keep all of your skills. You don't have to reset those, and you are able to use your mods. So again, yes, it drops you back down to 1, but you grind it back up and you're good to go. And you can read that as many times as you want to. Now for weapons, using the catalyst on the weapon doesn't impact their stats whatsoever. You maintain your level 100 weapon or whatever level that you catalysted at. The only difference is you do have to regrind its proficiency back up to 40 to be able to use another catalyst on it. But using the catalyst is the easiest way to get your module space managed. Again, this is not increasing your capacity, but it is decreasing how much the mods cost that add into that capacity. Going into number 5 on the list is the most important resource that we have in the game. It's going to be the Kuiper. So what Kuiper is, you can get this pretty much from anywhere. Completing missions, you can get it from hard mode from bosses. The best way to get it is actually just to run your vaults. You can, in hard mode, you can get 60, 70, 80,000 per vault, and you can do those pretty quick if you get good with how to run the vaults, and you can lock down where they're at pretty quick, and you can solve them pretty quick. You can get a really substantial amount of Kuiper per hour if you have enough of your decoders. Now, what Kuiper is how we're going to upgrade our modules. Over here is Cillian in the city. By going into him, you can enhance your modules, and as you can see up here, we have 100,000 Kuiper currently. To upgrade, what you'll do is you'll select whatever slot you want to upgrade. So we're going to upgrade the pistol here. I'm just going to upgrade a weak point detection. So as you see here, each level costs Kuiper as well as gold to upgrade. Now, the cost is determined by not only the rarity, but also how many grades the item can get. So you can see for this one, for example, a max upgrade on this one goes up to 13,000, whereas making a full upgrade on the one that has a higher capacity is going to go up to 124,000. So again, it's very important to know that Kuiper is something you're going to consistently need throughout your gameplay. If you change characters, you change your build, you change the direction of where you're going with things, you're going to need Kuiper to regrind that. Especially when you start getting into your end game and you start getting your Transcendent mods. Because your Transcendent mods are when you start to see the expense coming through. So, that being said, to upgrade a Transcendent mod from 0 to complete, one is 515,000 Kuiper. So, it's very important to know this. Just to give you an idea of what you need, you're going to need a couple million Kuiper per character or per build. That's not including your weapon slots. I mean, if you've got multiple weapon slots or swaps, Kuiper is very important. Farm it as much as you can and make sure you're always doing that. Now, that being said, we're actually going to go into our number 6 on the list, but to do so, we're actually going to take a detour. So one of the ways to get Kuiper My buddy Moxsys has a video, and I'll put it in the description here if you want to see it. But one of the best ways to farm Kuiper right now is his Kuiper grind spot. We're going to go to Sterile Lands over here, and we're going to go down to this waypoint. Now we're doing this because the number 6 on our list is going to be how to reset quest to get a farm loop going. I see people even still today going, when I'm going in through these farm zones, people are going in, they're running the mission, then they're running back to reset their quest. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that if you're farming hard mode bosses or any bosses. You don't have to do that if you're farming individual quests like these. You don't have to do that if you're doing operations as well. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to run through and do a Kuiper run real quick. It's a 30-second run, and then we're going to reset our dungeon. I'm going to show you how to reset this quest without having to go back to the quest. So we're just going to run down here real quick, grab the quest. Now, as soon as you complete your quest, you're going to get a pop-up that shows up at the bottom right of your screen. It's going to show you see mission results. By holding down this button, let me go grab this real quick. Reactor for another build. All right, so if you hold down the view results screen, it's going to bring up your actual results. And if you look at the very bottom here, you see another button that says Restart Mission. By simply holding down the R button, it's going to take you back to the quest start point, and it's going to automatically pick that quest up for you. So as you see here, it is already picked up. We have it ready to go, and you can go rinse and repeat. So this is a quick way to make sure that you can farm efficiently. It's a great tool to have if you're doing speed farms like this, or if you're trying to farm something where it's not so close. This one does have the benefit of you can just run down there and grab it very quickly. But in the event that you're running something that has a good example would be if you're farming for Thunder Cage schematics. Some of them are very widespread. You can't just get back to your quest giver very easily. You can just hit that restart button and it'll take you right back where you're supposed to be. All right, and that's how you reset your quest. Coming in at number 7 is going to be one that helps you immensely throughout your journey. Hopefully this changes your life in this game, but this game has a unique feature in that you don't have to know where things are from. You don't need to go on and switch screens and go to Google and find out where does a Thunder Cage schematic drop. It's all built in, and not only is it built in, you can automatically teleport to where this is located. So let's show you what that looks like. So if you hit your map button and you look at this top here, you see access info. By selecting it, it's going to give you all these different choices that you can select, and any of these are going to be able to direct you to the farm spot or multiple farm spots of where to get this. So we talked about farming a Thunder Cage earlier, so let's look at this. If you select the weapons, it's going to bring up a weapon list of everything that you can obtain through looting target farming. You can't target farm the purples unless you go into the quests themselves, but that's a whole nother story. But let's look at these directly. So Thunder Cage. So if you select it, it's going to bring up the different things that go into crafting a Thunder Cage. Then you can also hover them and it's going to give you acquisition information. By selecting acquisition information, it's going to pull up a list of everything of where you can possibly find it. Some things are very specific, such as these ultimate weapons. They have very specific drop spots, and this is one of them. This has only one single place you can get it, and then further than just telling you where it's at, if you click on this, it is going to tell you exactly where the quest is, and then you can teleport directly there. Or if it's one that has a direct teleport, such as bosses, you can just go directly from that menu and go in to see that. And you can do this for any of the items. You can do this for your resources or the amorphous material if you're looking to open up keys for bosses. You can do it for core materials, for some of your Descendant schematics. You can look at all your materials, where they come directly from. So any of these are going to give you an idea. Now, some of these, because they have more than one target, by selecting them, you're going to pull up this like this. But one thing is to note, anytime you see a hard or a boss or a completion, they are going to have a substantially higher drop rate than mission monsters. And even further than that, going from easy mode to hard mode, you get a substantially higher increase in the drop chance percentage as well on completion and also in your open world. Next up is number 8. It is very similar to number 7, but this one is involving your reactors, which are one of the most important items in your kit. Now, reactors are unique in this game because they're on a rotating schedule of what's available to be target farmed. You can get any combination of reactor at any point in time just by RNG drops. However, weekly there is a rotation of what items are available currently. Now, to access that to see what relevant reactors are available, you're going to go similar. You're going to go into your map and you're going to select difficulty level rewards. Now, I'm going to use the Glay build that I've been using to talk about it specifically. So the first week the game was out, I needed a very specific, all of the builds require specific reactors, but one that was not available. So I was not able to target farm it. And so how to use this is you can use this a couple different ways. First off, if you look at all rewards, this is going to give you the next 3 cycles of reactors as well as the current. And the way that you read this is it's going to be element type, weapon type, and what type of damage, whether it be tech or singularity, dimension. So the way that you read that is exactly that way, by looking at the element type, bullet type, and damage type. The other way that you access this is going to be from the menu here. You can select general rounds, special rounds, impact rounds, high powered rounds. For this exercise, we're going to look for my reactor that I'm using on the Glay build. So you'll select general, and in this case, we were looking for non-attribute, and I'm looking for dimension damage. There is only one single place that I can loot this reactor currently, and it is going to be in the rockfall zone. Now the cool thing, similar to where we were looking up items, if you click on this, it's going to take you and it's going to show you exactly which zone has this. Now the thing with reactors and their rotation, each zone has a different type of reactor. So by going to it, you're going to get hard focus on those for what can drop. And the way you run those is you simply pick a mission, run the mission, and any monster in that mission has the opportunity to drop the reactor of your choice. Number 9 is one that would have saved a lot of people a lot of heartache had they known about it early on. I myself didn't find out about it till a few days in. Very frequently throughout this game, especially considering how many descendants there are and how many different builds you can have for each character or situational, whether you're doing bossing or if you're mobbing or if you have another preset or if you have another build for AoE damage versus just speed farming. There is a button on this screen that I don't know how I missed it the first few days. I know some people have, even up until yesterday, were still talking that they didn't know about it. This button right here is your preset. It is your wardrobe. It is your loadout. By selecting this, you're going to have 5 standard slots that you can set a build into. You can buy more with your... It's kind of expensive for presets, but you have 5 already. But it's quite simple. If you wanted to save a preset, you simply select it. It save current settings. It's going to apply it. And then to set it up, you hit simply the F button or click the apply present, depending on which preset, which one you are selected. Now, the cool thing about this too is items that are in your storage box also show up here. So even if you had all of your components and all of your reactors for other builds in your boxes, you can still use them from the preset. So this is a super cool feature. It's awesome for switching builds on the fly. Last but not least is not going to really help you in your gameplay, but it is a super cool feature that they added into the game. Yes, you have your battle pass that you can get some free stuff. You have your side quests, you can get some free stuff. But did you know about the journal, which you can get free emotes, you can get free skins, you can get free titles. So just by playing the game, if you go into your journal, so you're going to hit your M button for map again and go over to journal. Under awards, there's all the different areas of which you can have achievements. What's cool about this is when you do complete something, you're going to get this little icon up here that says you got something to redeem. By clicking on it, you're going to then be able to go and see what you can redeem. So in this case, all we have is a prefix title, but as you can see here, there's paints, there's skins throughout here, there's more titles. So this journal is just a cool little feature they've added. It gives you free stuff for just playing the game. And to claim it, you're just simply going to click on it and it's going to go into your inventory. So again, this isn't going to help you, but it is such a cool feature that they added. So not just you getting achievements like most games have, you're actually getting rewarded for doing that. So that's my top 10 of things that I feel that if I'd have known earlier or I'd found out sooner, my gameplay would have been smoother. So I hope this helps somebody out there, or maybe I hope I taught you something you didn't know that really helps you throughout your current journey. But thank you so much for watching. If you guys got anything else that you think are helpful that you feel I missed, or you might want to teach me something that I haven't found out yet. I'm always welcome to that. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, guys.